Many thanks for joining the news on ASO Television. Sincere apologies for coming your way very late. My name is Rosemary Kokotega. The headlines. President Tinubu signs Electoral Act into law. FCT Nolge declares indefinite strike over withheld Kuje allocation. And in business, CBN Governor others advocate financial inclusivity through digital cross-border payments. President Bola Tinubu has signed the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2026 into law following the passage of the bill by the National Assembly on Tuesday. After months of deliberations, the President signed the bill at the State House on Wednesday in the presence of top government officials, including the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, and Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila. He said the essence of democracy is to have very solid discussions committed to national development and nation building, essential for the stability of the nation.
You manage the process to the extent there have been no confusion, no disenfranchisement of Nigerians, and that we are all going to see democracy flourish. It is time that we have confidence in our system. No matter how good a system is, it's managed by the people, promoted by the people, and the result is finalized by the people.
On ongoing debates over transmission of election results, President Tinubu said the electorate will not be communicating with computers but with human beings who will announce the final results. On his part, President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio assured citizens their concerns on electronic transmission of results had been included in the bill.
All Nigerians wanted was that in the IREF portal, which is a kind of viewing center of the outcome of most of the polling unit results, that they would like to see that transmitted electronically. We have included that in the amendment that has just been signed into Act of Parliament. But we also took cognizance of areas where there may not be any network, where there may not be communication capacities and availability. And we said, since the polling unit result comes in from EC8A, which is signed by the presiding officer, signed by the agents, and signed and in the presence of security agents, copies are given to all. Then we can use that as a primary source of collation at that unit.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom-Wike, has commended President Bola Tinubu for promptly signing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 into law. In a statement issued by his Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media, Lewi Olayinka, the minister described the president's assent as a demonstration of his commitment to strengthening Nigeria's democratic process and enhancing the credibility of elections. Minister Wike said the swift passage of the amended bill by the National Assembly and the President's immediate assent had put an end to what he termed unnecessary protests by individuals preparing excuses for anticipated electoral defeat. He noted that democracy remains a work in progress, adding that continuous review of the Electoral Act would help improve and consolidate the nation's democratic system. The minister congratulated the President and members of the National Assembly for their roles in the process, particularly praising Tinubu for signing the bill within 24 hours and not keeping Nigerians waiting. President Bola Tinubu says the 2026 Ramadan, which coincides with the Christian Lenten season, offers Nigerians a unique opportunity to reunite and promote peace and stability in the country. President Tinubu stated this while declaring open the 2026 Ramadan Tafsir at the State House Mosque in Abuja. He reminded Muslim faithful that the principal mission in Ramadan is to get closer to God, to do goodness to the people, to share love and faith, and to forgive one another.
May Allah continue to be with us, guide our country, defeat terrorism in our nation, defeat all acts of banditry in this country. For us as Muslims, we need to continue to have that spirit of goodwill and commitment to nation building not only for next 30 days, but beyond that. Fasting is required for us to get closer to God Almighty.
President Tinubu also used the period to seek understanding and forgiveness in the spirit of the season, in line with the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In his sermon, the chief imam of the State House Mosque, Sheikh Abdul Wahid Abubakar Suleiman, prayed that Almighty Allah grant the president good health and strength as he pursues his determination to improve the welfare and well-being of Nigerians. The 2026 Ramadan Tafsir was attended by the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and Governor of Kwara State, Abdurrahman Abdul Razak, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, among others. There were also Ministers of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kiare, and that of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, the Minister of Labor and Employment, Maigeri Dingyadi, and the Special Advisor to the President on Senate Matters, Senator Bashir Lado. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on Nigerians to use the concurrent observance of Ramadan and the Christian Lenten season to strengthen national unity and demonstrate practical compassion towards fellow citizens. In a statement on Thursday by his media aide Stanley Nwakucha, the Vice President said the sacred month requires more than religious ritual, just as he called for active engagement in addressing the nation's challenges. Senator Shettima described Ramadan as a journey of the soul and a time for deep reflection, for self-purification, and for embracing the true essence of Islam: peace, patience, sacrifice, and service to humanity. Vice President Shettima paid tribute to Nigeria's religious leaders across faiths, acknowledging their invaluable role in shaping the country's ethical foundation during this period when both major religious communities are engaged in spiritual disciplines. The Vice President also requested prayers for President Bola Tinubu's leadership, asking that divine guidance grant the President wisdom, strength, and foresight to pilot the affairs of Nigeria. And the chairman, Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJFCT Council, Comrade Grace Ike, has called for unity, sacrifice, and national renewal across the country on the twin commencement of the sacred seasons of Lent and Ramadan by Christians and Muslims. In a goodwill message to faithful in the Federal Capital Territory and across Nigeria, the NUJFCT chairman described Lent and Ramadan as solemn periods of fasting, prayer, and reflection that highlight enduring values such as discipline, compassion, sacrifice, and love for humanity. She noted that the twin observances present a unique opportunity for Nigerians to draw closer to God, strengthen moral resolve, and recommit to peaceful coexistence and national development. The chairman reaffirmed commitment of journalists in the FCT to promoting truth, fairness, and responsible reportage that foster harmony and mutual understanding among Nigeria's diverse population. She urged citizens to allow the sacred season to inspire them to serve as ambassadors of peace, tolerance, and respect. On behalf of the NUJFCT Council, Comrade Ike wished Muslim and Christian faithful a spiritually fulfilling Ramadan and Lenten season, expressing hope that the period of prayer and sacrifice would usher in renewed hope and greater prosperity for the nation. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, has stated that non-persistent release and inadequate allocation of funds as major impediments to the effective delivery of justice sector reforms by the federal government. The Attorney General, while presenting the 2026 budget proposal of the Federal Ministry of Justice before the House of Representatives Committee on Justice Wednesday at the National Assembly, lamented that insufficient budgetary allocations and delays in the release of appropriated funds have significantly constrained the ministry's capacity to execute critical projects and deliver essential services to Nigerians. He explained that the ministry's mandate and engagement are anchored on achieving the goals and initiatives outlined in the National Policy on Justice 2024 and its strategic plan 2023 to 2027. The objectives, which according to him align with the justice sector roadmap under the renewed hope agenda of the current administration. Mr. Fagbemi added that the ministry received no funding for its 2025 capital project, stressing that the funding constraints are not peculiar to the Ministry of Justice alone. On the 2026 proposal, the minister revealed that the ministry earmarked over 23.6 billion naira covering personnel, overhead and capital expenditures. In his response, Chairman of the House Committee on Justice, Mr. Olumide Osoba, assured the committee would thoroughly scrutinize the ministry's budget estimates and those of its agencies to ensure that justice sector reforms are not hampered by inadequate funding, as it would exercise effective oversight over funds approved in the ministry's annual budget to guarantee accountability and optimal utilization. In a bold move to shield journalists against escalating digital dangers, the Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJFCT Council has entered into a partnership with the Nigeria Data Protection Commission NDPC. The partnership took place during a high-level courtesy visit on leadership of NDPC by the NUJFCT Council's executive led by the chairman, Comrade Grace Ike. The delegation sought NDPC's support in training journalists on data protection to strengthen ethical reporting and safeguard public trust. The NUJFCT Council chairman noted the rapid growth of digital ecosystem with cyber threats increasing, digital surveillance becoming more sophisticated, and misinformation spreading faster than verification. She expressed confidence the engagement would bring journalists up to speed with Nigeria's data policy framework, provide practical guidance on lawful data handling, expose journalists to digital security best practices, and strengthen resilience against cyber threats targeting media institutions. In his remarks, the National Commissioner and Chief Executive Officer of the NDPC, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, commended the FCT NUJ Council for the initiative, noting that the Commission's mandate thrives on awareness creation. He highlighted recent strategic engagement with journalists in Lagos and Abuja during National Privacy Week, stating that beyond promoting compliance with Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023, the NUJ can also help showcase career opportunities within the data protection ecosystem. The NDPC chairman pledged to organize a one-day induction training for the FCT Council. He also offered free virtual privacy academy vouchers and slots in the certification program as part of a broader strategic collaboration. And you can watch us on DSTV 392, StarTimes TV 127, Free TV 507 on the UHF band channel 38. The news continues after this timeout. Stay with us.
Afia wanibaka, uyayeka, inemeka, isombrembre. Ukunizo ikpaiso. Mbok pa uton komien. Edi
Gideon Odofia, I bless you today as our family latest daughter of water.
The heck are you doing here? I'm covering the Uyere festival. You've got to be kidding me.
You will be a great king. The youngest king to be selected by this village.
This is my place, and I can mess with you in ways you cannot imagine.
And now the news continues. The Federal Safety Corps, FRSC, and the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, have agreed to deepen collaboration on data integration to boost national security and road safety. This follows a strategic meeting between the Corps Marshal of the FRSC, Shehu Mohammed, and the Director General of NIMC, Engineer Adesoye Koka. The Corps Marshal stressed the need for strong data harmonization among government agencies, noting that credible identity management is vital for effective law enforcement, crash reduction, and national planning. He also reaffirmed the Corps' plan to enforce National Identification Number (NIN) as a mandatory requirement for vehicle registration and the National Driver's License. In her response, the NIMC Director General pledged the Commission's commitment to support the FRSC through data integration initiatives aimed at improving road safety and strengthening national security. Both agencies say the partnership will enhance innovation, improve data accuracy, and support the federal government's drive towards a technology-driven identity system. Mrs. Funke Adeboye Awowojobe has assumed office as Director of Public Affairs and Family Assistance at the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB. Her appointment follows the recent redeployment of senior directors across aviation agencies by the Federal Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, aimed at improving coordination, efficiency, and collaboration within the sector. Mrs. Awowojobe brings more than 2 decades of experience in communications, insurance, stakeholder engagement, and corporate governance. Before her new role, she served as Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, where she led initiatives that improved public communication and strengthened stakeholder engagement at the NSIB. She is expected to enhance public understanding of transportation safety issues and improve communication during accident investigations while supporting affected families. Her appointment is seen as part of efforts to strengthen public trust and institutional credibility in Nigeria's aviation safety system. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, NULGE Federal Capital Territory Chapter, has declared an indefinite industrial action following the continued non-release of the January 2026 monthly allocation to the Kuje Area Council. The decision was reached at an emergency State Executive Council meeting held on Tuesday, February 18, 2026, amid mounting concerns over workers' welfare. According to the communique signed by the FCT NULGE President Comrade Ibrahim Abdullahi Kalbi, the strike will take effect from Thursday, February 19, 2026, and will involve workers across the 6 area councils as well as non-teaching staff of LEA Kuje. NULGE accused the Minister of the FCT, Barrister Wike, and the FCT Treasury of refusing to release the allocation for what the union described as unjustifiable reasons, despite repeated engagements and appeals. The union lamented that workers in Kuje Area Council have not received salaries since December 2025, a situation it said has subjected employees and their families to severe hardship. NULGE stated that all avenues of dialogue had been exhausted before resorting to industrial action. As part of its resolution, the union demanded the immediate release of Kuje Area Council allocation to facilitate the payment of outstanding salaries and allowances. NULGE maintained that the strike would remain in force until the issue is resolved and workers' entitlement paid. The clamor for full statehood for the Federal Capital Territory has continued to gather momentum as members of the indigenous communities as well as key political functionaries within the territory demand an independent legislative assembly as a first step towards attaining full statehood. These and more formed the very core of the deliberations at the APC Geopolitical Zones and FCT Town Hall meeting, a significant event held here in Abuja at the Cyprian Equity Center for Arts and Culture. Vidania reports.
With the theme, One People, One Voice, One Vote for APC, the event brought together key party figures, including chairman of the occasion, Honorable Abdullahi Adamu Candido, Honorable Joshua Chinedu Obika, a federal lawmaker representing the FCT, Honorable Lawrence Onunchuku, among others. Honorable Candido, in his opening remarks, emphasized the need for inclusion and the harmonization of political interests. He advocated for respecting the rights of indigenous people of the FCT to hold the 6 area councils, stressing that only those who have contributed to the party's growth in the FCT should be duly compensated with allocated appointments.
So what we're saying is that let the two people live side by side and enjoy a sense of living. After all, what is there in this world? The entire world is a temporary abode. We live a little and we vanish again. So the indigenous and the residents, let us learn to live together.
On his part, Honorable Joshua Chinedu Obika highlighted the importance of efforts towards making the FCT a full state, aligning with the demand for an independent legislative assembly. He called on stakeholders to work towards this goal, emphasizing the need for collective action.
Because Section 299 as amended of 1999 Constitution stated it clear that FCT is to be treated as if it were a state. And if you go to the other states in the Federation, you have representation of local governments in the State Executive Council.
The event convener, Honorable Lawrence Onunchuku, called on participants to use the forthcoming aerial council elections to consolidate on the gains by the party for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He urged party members to mobilize massive grassroots support for Mr. President.
On this note, gentlemen and ladies, my brothers and my sisters from across the Niger and from northern Nigeria, we have collectively agreed that we're going to vote constantly to vote all our candidates of APC.
The event aims to promote unity and solidarity within the party, focusing on FCT's development and APC's growth. Daniel Obi, ASO Television News.
Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mr. Olayemi Kadoso, alongside other economic stakeholders, including the Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, have emphasized the need for financial inclusivity through digital cross-border payments for a sustainable growth and development of the country. The CBN governor, among others, in Abuja during his plenary speech delivered at the G24 technical group meetings, acknowledged that digital cross-border payments, global finance and economic transformation opportunities and risks is not merely a technical discussion but a fundamental development priority for G24 countries, while Minister Edun highlights efforts of the President Bola Tinubu's administration for national development. We will bring you more on that story in a subsequent bulletin. And ending the bulletin, let's remind you that President Bola Tinubu has signed the Electoral Act 2026 into law following the passage of the bill by the National Assembly Tuesday after months of deliberations. Many thanks for watching. I am Rosemary Kokotega. There's news at 7. Join us there.